For years, people have reached out to me and to GreenMedInfo to understand the best way to deal with overweight and obesity. And I, as a child, actually was within the range of obesity when I was around 12, just on the edge. And it's because I, at the time, had a lot of, issues with my microbiome not being in the right place and a lot of, medical induced metabolic dysfunction through various like asthma medications, etc. And also I didn't know better because I was being raised in like New Jersey at the time, average suburban environment. And at the time, they would be eating Entenmann's cakes for dessert that had hydrogenated oils in it. We were drinking soda like from a 2 liter in plastic from, the refrigerator. I mean, this was normal, okay? So it's a miracle I'm still here in one piece, but I had to learn a lot about metabolic issues just personally. And then with Green Med Info, I spent many years working on trying to figure out how to help people with keeping weight off in a healthy way. And then I started to understand more about the harms of visceral fat or so-called abdominal obesity. So in the midsection, that band, which represents usually elevated cortisol, insulin levels, is actually a really powerful predictor of cardiac mortality. It's actually as powerful, if not more powerful, than your blood lipid profile that everyone makes all the big deal about, right? Like, where's your cholesterol? Where's your LDL and HDL? Well, it turns out that visceral midsection fat, so-called midsection obesity, is a higher um, indicator in terms of accuracy than even smoking, whether you smoke or not. And that's a big deal. So I take the topic really seriously, and I also want people to understand that there are solutions. Like this is the one that I personally use and I promote because I know what the formulation says, and I know how that translates into our biology. And then, of course, everything I endorse, I take personally, so I know what it's doing. So this product is very unique because it is clinically backed. The primary active ingredient is actually, well, it's grains of paradise. It's a fruit extract that was clinically studied to reduce visceral fat. Now, it's very interesting because not all fats are bad inside the body. In fact, some of them, like brown fat, is considered extremely beneficial because it's actually very thermically active. Well, it turns out there are certain compounds that can increase the ratio of the brown fat to the white fat. The white fat's considered more a reflection of morbidity and a risk factor for all the things we're talking about. So that's one reason why this formula is a metabolic enhancement. It actually helps you to burn fat better, and it also epigenetically directs the body into a more healthy phenotype expression of that adipose tissue. That's where turmeric comes in. So turmeric is one of those herbs which you've probably heard, has 1,000 different potential therapeutic applications, which is probably true. But the one that very few people realize is that it's actually able to help your metabolism. And it does this in so many ways. So one of them actually includes that it helps the body produce EPA and DHA, which are the mammalian, well, generally, okay, so some algae produce EPA, actually, they produce DHA. Generally speaking, plants do not produce EPA and DHA. Animals produce them. So if you have grass-fed meat or milk, you have some of these good fats in there. Turns out certain plants make it possible for your body to convert vegetarian omega-3 into EPA and DHA, which are usually considered animal. And turmeric is one of them. So that's also really interesting because there's so many Indians that are vegetarian and they use turmeric from the moment they're born. In fact, it's put on the nipple of the breast for the first feeding the infant takes of the mother's milk. That's how important it is. They have a turmeric latte when they're born. And so that's the interesting thing is this formula is actually optimized for getting the body's metabolic pathways to express wellness. And the reason is because informationally, when you have the right quality ingredients, what happens is it produces the software for the hardware of the body. That's actually what these herbs do. And they contain microRNAs, which are little sequences of code. They're like software that help to activate these hidden pathways of longevity within your body. So that's one reason why I love this product. But probably the most interesting part of it that I'm just always amazed by the formulation, and I know the formulator personally, and I'll tell you more about him in another video eventually. He's a legend, is ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is one of these Indian adaptogens, similar to what, in the East is prized as ginseng, a panacea. Ashwagandha is able to tonify. In fact, it's used for libido, but it also is able to help you rest. So if you have adrenal fatigue, you take ashwagandha at nighttime. Now, why would it be good for both? Well, it turns out you need to actually relax your system and actually dip into the infinite reserve of yin energy to replenish and be able to express yang libidinal force. So ashwagandha is so unique in that ability. And the fact that it's in this formula, I love it because, think about all the gimmicky products out there that have relied on caffeine to get a quick thermic response, burn some fat at the expense of long-term neurobiological and endocrine health. Most people, they'll get a quick buzz from caffeine, they'll crash, and then they'll need more. And then by the end of a few doses, they're exhausted. They start losing their hair, their adrenal glands are completely zapped. This is an adrenal formula, but it is focused on igniting your metabolism, and that is the beauty of it. The other thing is that Chrissy, who's the founder of Viscera with her husband, she was, I think, over 300 pounds, really dealing with obesity, and she had essentially Hashimoto's thyroiditis, or, basically hypothyroidism. And in that situation, so many people are, in a way, I'll just say it, thrown in the wood chipper of allopathic medicine because they're told, oh my gosh, your thyroid has a nodule, we're going to burn it out, and you need it replaced with levothyroxine, which is a synthetic analog that doesn't do anything close to what your body does with its natural TH1, T1, T2, T3, T4, and all the other cofactors that your body produces so your metabolism is optimized. Instead, people aren't told, they're brushing their teeth with fluoride, they have bromide in their bread. There's all these chemicals in their environment that are suppressing their ability to produce, these hormones, so goitrogens essentially, or halogen class compounds. So one of the things that this product does is it actually provides people with support in that realm. People with suppressed thyroid have done really well with it. Chrissy's an example. You'd never know she had any overweight issues, and she is a parent with many kids. She keeps her energy high. That's what this product is for. And it actually contains bovine thyroid from regeneratively sourced animals. So that's one of the beautiful things. It also has the bovine liver, which is one of the best sources of the cofactors needed to produce energy, which are the B complex, not from synthetic vitamins, but from actual tissue. So if you're a vegetarian, of course, you can't take this product, but this is designed specifically for those who need to boost their metabolism as well as optimize glucose metabolism, which is why it has cinnamon, one of the best forms of glucose modulation. So-called insulin resistant diabetes is because of the resistance of the cells to insulin. Well, there are other pathways like GLUT pathways that take sugar directly in, and cinnamaldehyde is the compound that enables you to do that. It's actually been compared with metformin in that regard, sharing potentially the same types of mechanisms which enable it to lower blood sugar. That's based on a good amount of research. You can check it out on GreenMedInfo. But I just wanted you guys to know about this product because there's so many great solutions out there and so few people know about them. I spend so much of my time doing health politics work, journalism, advocacy, and essentially GreenMedInfo, that was my original body of work and contribution. So I don't do these talks often enough, but I do really want you to know about the best products. They make incredible protein supplements. Many of you are already taking them. It cured me of my so-called milk allergy when I started taking A2 protein derived uh, whey protein and milk concentrate. I've had no allergies and I've put on muscle mass that I just can't even believe for my age. And that's because it's all about quality, intention. The company has to be in it for more than just making money. The people have to care. The product is truly put together in a way that I know will help tremendously to reduce suffering in those who are dealing with these issues. So again, obesity, overweight, metabolic issues, sluggish thyroid, these are the things I would use it for, and I do recommend to my family. But of course, for yourself, always do your research, check in with your health practitioners so that you are working on a plan that is truly integrative if you are on conventional meds. But this is a product that you definitely want to check out. Check out the company, the link below, and you can learn more about it.